Hey, this is Christine, your DIY craftaholic. Welcome back to my channel for those returning, and if you are new, welcome also. This is another What Would You Make collaboration, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. These are my projects for this playlist, so let's jump right in. Now for DIY number one, now I had these 3 trays that I received from Woodpecker's Craft. I used 2 in another DIY. I linked that one above. And this one I started out doing, but ran into some challenges and I set it aside. So here I'm using my Tack Life cordless screwdriver. Yes, it's a power tool. It has 10 drill bits and a USB cord for charging, and I'm using that to remove the handles. Now you can use this screwdriver pack you see to the right that I got from Dollar Tree. You don't have to use a power tool if you don't have it, but I decided to try this out. I've never used it before. At the time I was filming this, I was working on all 3 of the trays at the same time, but like I said, I decided to shelve this one. So if you want to see more about how I use the drill, you can watch this video right here. I will leave a link to this cordless screwdriver in the description box below, so you can see that if you are interested. And as not to lose the screws because they are so tiny, I used a piece of tape, taped them to the handle and set that aside. I then took my sanding block and sanded it down, both the inside and the outside, because the edges were rough, the wood was rough, so I had to give it a good sanding. And afterwards took a damp paper towel and removed the dust. Now, my brilliant idea was to give the inside herringbone base. So I drew my design on this piece of brown paper. I made sure I measured the inside first, so I had it to the size that I needed. And I drew the design using the craft sticks to measure the distance. In my head, this is what I wanted. And this is a pack of paint stirrers that I picked up at Lowe's. It has 30 sticks in there, but I did not use the entire pack because as you come closer to the end of the paper, then you can use 1 stick twice. I had started with these 3 pieces off camera, and this is how you're going to lay it down on the inside of the tray. Now this was my idea of getting to where I needed to go. If you know how to do this another way, please let me know in the comments down below, because I'm not gonna lie, this was very challenging. So I laid a few more of them down, taped them together, and then use a ruler following the template and just remove the excess with the scissors. And this is what it looks like when I was all done, and I was happy. Now we're on to the next step, and this was a try anything day for me. So here I'm gonna be using some Rust-Oleum wood stain in American walnut along with my trusted Waverly antique wax. So I shook them up real good, pour a little out into this container and use this dropper. Like, I don't throw anything out. I knew I would need it someday, so I kept it. Now because I'll be mixing both stains, I'm using the dropper to take out the portion that I need from the wood stain to add it to the antique wax. Now if you're going to use just the wood stain, you don't have to remove this. You can just use your rag, dip it in there and stain. I didn't want the inside to get all stained and messy, so I used some painter's stain to tape that down or to cover that. And now I'm ready to stain. So if you are new to my channel or coming over from the playlist, welcome. I'm so happy you joined me today. Here on my channel, I do DIYs on a budget, dupes, look for less, and some occasional Dollar Tree shopping hauls and thrift flips. If you love budget-friendly DIYs like these and you have not yet subscribed, please consider subscribing and be sure to hit that notification bell. Hit it again and select all so YouTube notifies you whenever I upload new videos. So this is what it looks like after I was done putting it all together. And now I'm going to be removing the tape from the inside. And as you can see, the surface of the wood still had little particles of splinters, so I had to sand it down again. Now, full disclosure, this is not the end result, but I decided to leave all of this footage in the video so you can see the transition from this process to where I got to in the end. And in the event, if you decide to do a tray like this with the same herringbone design, then at least you have a video you can come back to and see how that process is done. So this is what it looks like after I glued everything in, and that little corner I just cut down a piece that could fit in the space, glue that down as well. So when I looked at it, I realized that some of the spaces were too far apart, so I filled that in with some caulking from Dollar Tree, and I just added a couple of weights, 5-pound weights to it, and left it to age cure for maybe 3 weeks, I believe. So while I was thinking about what I was going to be doing for this video, I remembered that I had my tray unfinished, and then I found these tile decals from Dollar Tree in my stash, and I decided to just put that on the inside. And this is where this tray took a different turn. So to kind of match the bronze shade on the tile, I decided to mix some paint. So I took brown paint and this metallic gold paint, and I mixed both of them together, just trying to match the shade of the tile. And I then painted the tray again. And after I painted it, I dried it. And now it's all painted and dried. I took my Waverly clear wax and I applied that all over the tray. So now I was ready to add the decal, and what I did, I just measured the distance of the space on the inside and cut down the decal. I had to join it, and I think I cut it a little bit shorter than the space, so I ended up with a little gap on one side. To compensate for the space, I had this piece of jute cord and I just glued that around one of the long side and one of the short side, and that was also like a design. I just left it like that because that's all I had. And then after I did all of that, I took the little Dollar Tree screwdriver and then just screwed on back the handles. And the tray is finally done. I think I love it, but let me know in the comments below what you think. I absolutely love it. Now this is the What Would You Make collaboration being hosted monthly by Zaina from OK at Home DIY and Connie from Connie's Creative Creations. And this month we have Teresa B DIY joining us as guest host. Make sure to go down to my description box below and you'll see links to their channels. Go visit their channel if you have not yet subscribed. Subscribe to their channel, and also to check out the playlist. And now we're on to DIY number 2. This is a wood round I got from Dollar Tree, and I did one side for a 5 under 5 video a few weeks ago, and now I'm going to do the reverse side because I love doing reversibles. This is a pack of window cling that I got from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to be using the largest pumpkin. And I gave the wood round one heavy coat of white Waverly Chalk paint. And after it dried, I am now cutting out the window cling. And I am cutting off that little edge that clings on to the glass. I don't want that on there, so I'm cutting as close to the edge as possible. And after I got it cut out, I'm now removing the back piece. And I applied some Mod Podge, a lot of Mod Podge, to both the cling and the board. And then I placed the cling down. Now, in hindsight, I should have just dropped it down a little bit more so that I had more space at the top, but I realized that afterwards. So then I took a piece of parchment paper and my heat gun. This has my mini heat press. It was at this point that I decided that I needed to get myself one, and I did. So I just took the parchment paper and I placed that on top of it, and I'm just using the heat, and as it heats up, I'm using my hand to just press it down to make sure that the Mod Podge underneath is adhering to the cling, because of course this is plastic, so having the parchment paper on top of it also helped. And then I used my little silicone spatula and pressed it down. And I really am pleased with this technique. I was amazed at how well it held up to the pressure I was applying. It didn't crinkle, it didn't melt, it adhered very well to it. Now this is where I thought that I should have dropped the pumpkin a little lower so that I could get my welcome sign. But I paint the welcome sign, whatever was left of the paint from the tray, and it turned out well. I like it. And then I had these maple leaf scatter from last year. And here I am just trying to decide how I want to place those down. I didn't want to put another bow on top of it because we already have a bow on the other side. So to add some more embellishment, I have this piece of decorative burlap ribbon, the last of it. And I decided to just add that on both sides, use the end of it to cover the cord, and then as I glue down, I just kind of twist it or curved it so that it formed the arch, and I glued that on both sides. Now to cover the end of that, I decided to use 2 of the maple leaves to cover that, but afterwards I looked at it and I didn't like how they look, so you'll see what I do with it at the end. And here I am just gluing down the leaves at the top, made a small jute bow, and here I am just burning off the little fuzzies from the bow. Glue down the welcome fall sign and just glue that in the middle. And I thought it was done, but this is where after I looked at it, I'm like, no, those 2 little maple leaves at the end, too overpowering, so I removed them. And I had a large wooden bead that was already stained. I just cut that in 2 and replaced the leaves with the beads. And now it is done. I love it. So now it's time for our final reveal. Now I apologize for the footage. The camera was not on the appropriate setting, and so it causes the film to look all squished. Let me know what you think about this sign. It's reversible for the season, and I just love it. And here is the tray without anything in it, just by itself. Now I may go back and add some feet to it just to raise it a little bit. So there you have it, guys. But let me know what you think about these DIYs today. Don't forget to check out the playlist down below. Make sure to like, share, and comment on this video because it really helps my channel. I am so close to 1,000 subscribers, so if you have not yet subscribed, go ahead and do so before you leave. And if you like videos like this, I suggest this one right here or this playlist, and stay safe until next time. Bye.